In this video, I'm driving a Volvo Amazon Estate. How good is that? Wow. So here is our subject of 1966 Volvo Amazon, quite late as they go. Very distinctive sort of Chrysler-esque double grille. So this one made in 1966. They stopped making them in 1970. And we got a split tailgate, which we'll explore in just a moment. But first of all, let's have a nose under the bonnet. So here is the engine. It would have had a 1.8 litre from the factory, but this is actually a B20, a rather legendary Volvo engine, famed for being incredibly hardy. Would probably have had twin carburetors on a B20 back in the day, but this one's got one big carburetor and a nice aluminium radiator. Non-standard, but probably better than what it had from the factory. Note a very, very remote brake servo all the way over here. That's some way from the pedal. I'm not sure I've ever seen one quite so far away. Marvellous. Just so simple and accessible. Even the bonnet springs are fantastic engineering. Look at that. Marvellous. Oh, the Craig is just going to spin her around because the sun's a bit strong and it's ruining the interior shots. They got quite rorty. Whoa. Right, and Craig is just going to demonstrate how the tailgate opens. So one twist, up goes the top, down comes the bottom, and look how the number plate swings down so it's still visible. And you can even lower the top hatch down, have long loads, and still show off your number plate legally. Fold down number plates used to be on a lot of cars, including Minis, Range Rovers, back in the early days. And the Citroen DS actually had two number plates, so one was always visible. How times have changed. Right, let's have a look inside the car. There we go. Right hand handbrake. Nice Volvo on the kick sill. Sills galvanised on these from new, apparently, which is most unusual. Naturally, being a Volvo, I mean, they would legally be required by this age anyway, but Volvo were the pioneers of the 3-point seatbelt, and we've got a padded dash top for extra safety. Mind you, we've still got a huge steering wheel with this push button horn ring. Presumably you need the horn on for that. I might have to try it. That's a bit feeble. The horn may not be well. But yeah, we've got a nice simple strip style speedo. It's all a bit antique for the 1960s, to be honest. Things were moving on a bit, but nonetheless, it's worth remembering this car was launched in 1956, so it was a little bit old. We've got a very, very long gear lever. That angle doesn't really show you how long it is, but it is massively long, straight into the top of the gearbox. And we've got overdrive as well. Overdrive activated by this stalk over here. And we've got an indicator stalk on this side. Otherwise, we've got choke control here. That's the light that tells you you're in overdrive, I think. Heater fan, and then lights and wipers over here. I'm presuming pull buttons. Yes. Super. Is it a twist? I wonder how you wash the windscreen. No, I don't know. But yeah, I think the heater controls can best be described as simple. But look, lovely little door pockets, door handle you pull back to open the window. I might have to try the window winders because old cars tend to have beautifully engineered winders. See how that's very pleasant. Right, should we have a jump in the back? So here in the back I've got masses of headroom and plenty of knee room as well. It doesn't look very spacious with a seat set for me, but it still is. lots of space, and you could definitely get another couple of adults in the back. Of course, there's loads of space in the boot as well. So this car has been to Classic Le Mans several times. I think Craig quite popular with his friends. I like the perforated headliner. That's very much of its time. Nice simple interior light, and that probably gives you a better view of the interior. It's simple but pleasant. I guess we should really go for a drive, and I'm not doing that from here. So open the handle and off we go. Right then, here we go. The self-cancelling indicators are a little too self-cancelling. Oh, look out, pussycat! Yes, running away is the most sensible option, cat. And immediately, just the sound and the feel, it just takes me back. Because my aunt had a Morris Oxford. And this feels like a Swedish Morris Oxford. That's probably a bit unfair on it. It's better than a Swedish Morris Oxford. It's a really nice gear change for all that massive length, so obviously it moves a fair bit. Man, that's a big lorry. So much torque. It's pottering along from pretty much nothing at all in second. And it is a proper strip speedo in which a ribbon runs across the speedometer to show you what's going on. This is a ridiculous road. But these were used as rally cars by a lot of people in 123 GT form. They were quite formidable machines, lots of power. Now I've been told to use the clutch for overdrive, but we aren't quite on roads that are sufficient to get it engaged just yet. This is thoroughly lovely. I'm glad I've got that little white car to act as a clearer on the road, although it didn't clear that Fiat out the way very well, did it? Oh, she's up to operating temperature. Swedish cars never hang about getting up to temperature. Oh, he was happy to see us. And that's what old cars are about. They're just charming. They make people smile. I mean, really, it's ridiculous to be into classic cars, isn't it? I mean, humans should be making progress. Everything should be getting better. Yet we keep harking back to older times. We enjoy the friendly death grip of a rock-hard steering wheel. We quite enjoy going back to a car where the brakes are not formidable in the slightest. The engine is inefficient by modern standards, but what car designers don't seem to understand is what makes a car fun to drive, and that has never changed, really. I'd say by the 1950s and 60s, manufacturers were good at making cars that could do pretty much anything you wanted. Oh yeah, she feels quite lusty. Of course, unlike modern engines, it's all mid-range grunt, it's all torque. And the steering feels very tight. I'm pretty sure there are a steering box on these. Just steaming up a bit, I'm going to open my quarter light for some ventilation. Oh, sorry, hit a pothole. Feel bad because there was water in it. But then Craig was saying he used this car as his only car for 6 or 7 years. He's had it something like 12 or 13 years. And that's the good thing about these cars. They are so robust. You could use one daily, no problem. There are loads of these with more than 100, more than 200,000 miles on the clock. I think we should go right. Self-cancelling indicator that just cancels itself constantly. Character's what that is. Let's see if we can find a bit of road good enough to actually get the overdrive. The Volvo Amazon was the first Volvo to sell in sort of strong numbers in the UK that became very popular here, and I think the fact that you do get that Morris Oxford vibe might be one reason. No idea where we're going. The signs appeared to just run out. Look before you leap, love. Oh, this is the most frustrating drive ever. The roads are just clogged up around here. Where on earth are you going? Proper reverse gear. I think we'll give up on this road. This is utterly ridiculous. Wonderful visibility for reversing. Yeah. Do you think they know they're driving along with their hazard lights on? Yeah, I would dearly love one of these cars because I think they're absolutely fabulous. Right, so here we go. We've got up to 40 now. I'm going to risk overdrive. So there we go. The overdrive unit is now engaged. The light has come on to warn me. And the overdrive, it's like a solenoid that changes to another ratio, but it bolts onto the back of the gearbox, so it does it electrically. Because they just couldn't cram any more gears in, I don't think. Because only as gear technology moved on, they were able to pack more gears into a gearbox, but overdrive became redundant. Also, overdrive doesn't work in a front-wheel drive car. It's a rather fierce heater, I'm having to turn it down. So there's a fair bit of wind noise, but this is barreling along very merrily. That's 55-ish, near enough. Lovely. Rolls a fair bit, it has to be said. But it feels okay, it feels planted, even though she rolls a fair bit. Fairly soft springing, so yeah, not the most refined, but I think there are coil springs at the back. Yeah, it has to be said, this feels more solid and more, I don't know, happy to drive quickly than some 50s and 60s cars I've driven. It can't match the sheer finesse of a Rover P6, but it was never intended to. Knocking on the door of 60. Gosh, the heater, it's like a sauna in here. It's amazing. We haven't even got the blower going. Now I must admit, Volvos for me, it's either an Amazon or I'd jump straight to the 740. I'm not a 240 fan. Or the 140 that replaced this model and became the 240. I think it's because they look more modern. I expect them to feel more modern. But really, they're fairly similar to this. So I prefer this because it's more charming. There's more, yeah, it's more classic. Still fairly short gearing, so we're just doing a touch over 60 there. Honestly, officer. And it does feel a bit short, but it's so fuss free really. It's not a hard car to drive. And the steering's maybe got a little bit of weave in it, just come out of overdrive. Oh no, I've got to go right at the roundabout. Volvo coach. Shared heritage. Separate companies these days. This is a little inconvenient, if I'm honest. Oh, that's tight. It's steaming up in here a bit, isn't it? Against advice, I'm going to try and engage the overdrive. Oh, that was smooth enough. I just eased off the throttle. Yeah, it's a bit jerky coming out. But yeah, I mean, it's comfortable, good visibility. You could drive this car for miles and miles. Sadly, I've got to go and give it back. Ah well, all good things must come to an end. Sorry, I've just sussed out the wipers. It's pulled all the way out for wash, which puts them onto the fastest setting, and then you just push it in. So there's 2-speed wipers. Wipers. So that was the really rather lovely Volvo Amazon. What fantastic cars they are, just so robust, so together, such a joyous classic experience that doesn't feel like it's going to break down any moment. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe before you go, and I shall see you in a future video. Farewell.